So I'm back with my second review in the Child's Play franchise with Child's Play 2. Was it better than the first one? Let's find out.
Wolfman's got nards!
Child's Play 2 is a 1990 horror movie directed by John Lafia, and it stars Alex Vincent, Jenny Agutter and Brad Dourif. In this movie, Andy's mother's been admitted to a psychiatric hospital, which means that Andy has to go to a foster home. But while he's in the foster home, Chucky's still after him and he's determined to claim Andy's soul. So let me start with the very beginning of this movie. I remember watching this as a kid, loving this film, watching it all the time as a kid, and it always reminded me of the Terminator 2 teaser trailer when the Terminator's getting all built up and stuff and in the factory. That kind of reminded me of the start of Child's Play 2 when they get the burnt body or the burnt doll and they scrape it, make it all better, and they're basically looking to see the defects of the doll. I don't know why they kept it fully. I think it was a silly excuse to have the doll back at the factory, but it worked because it was a very creative way to bring him back. I also liked the way that they wrote out Catherine Hicks from the film, because obviously I don't know if she wanted to be a part of it or she wanted too much money, but it was a good way to keep Andy's mum out of the story and put him into the foster care. Now what I loved about this film was it was a bigger setting. It wasn't just isolated in this little flat that there was in the first one. We had a big house that it was set in this time. I loved the house. The house reminded me of Santa Claus the movie from 1985. It looked like it was decorated that kind of way, but it was a bigger house, bigger setting, and it wasn't only just set in the house. It was set, bits of it was in the garden, and then obviously we had that big factory setting at the end of the movie as well. I think the score was a lot better for this film. It felt more childlike, like it was like an evil child sounding score that it had. That was great. I also think that this film showcased Brad Dourif as a great voice actor more than he did in Child's Play. Yes, he featured in Child's Play as Charles Lee Ray and the voice of Chucky, but in this one he was only the voice of Chucky, but I think he'd done a lot better job in this, and he made the character his own. Annabelle's behind you! I like the story that Miss Kettlewell was reading in the school. I love that scene. I love the scene where he actually kills Miss Kettlewell as well. But she's reading what I think is Pinocchio, which is about a wooden boy who wants to turn into a real boy, which is quite cool because obviously we've got Chucky, who is a doll who wants to become a real person again. Is it just me, or did this scene remind you of Big Trouble in Little China? I think that Child's Play 2 done everything that Child's Play 1 did, but it did it better for me, in my opinion. I think there was more kills, the kills were more creative. Brad Dourif done a better voice acting, like I said, as Chucky. I think that Andy Barclay was better in this one than he was in the first one. As much as I loved Andy's mum in the first movie, she did a great job. I also love Jenny Agutter as well. I think she's a great actress. Although she didn't have a massive part to play in Child's Play 2, I think she was a good replacement for Catherine Hicks. I also liked the introduction of another kid, albeit a teenager, with Kyle. Andy never had that in Child's Play 1. He never had somebody to talk to, somebody to rely on and speak to about things, especially about Chucky. I think with the introduction of Kyle, who again was a teenager, it was good to have that dynamic between an older kid and a younger kid trying to get away from Chucky. And I think it was the perfect ending to Child's Play 2 when they go back to the factory where all the Chucky dolls are. I think it was just a great ending. I think it was amazing the way they done that, and again, for me as a child, watching as a kid, I absolutely loved it. Even watching it today, it didn't lose its value. I'm going to say something that maybe a lot of people will hate, and I do think that Child's Play 2 is better than Child's Play 1. So what do you think of Child's Play 2, guys? Do you think it improved on what they've done with Child's Play 1, or do you think it was just a kind of cheap knockoff of Child's Play 1? As always, leave your comments down below. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.